but the berths are only about 5 feet long because Japanese are not lanky people. So you had to sleep in a fetal position
Just to sit on the bed.
but we got down there to Sasebo. And the Sasebo base didn't have a receiving station. They had a ship, an enemy ship that had been sunk. But they brought it back out of the water after a year or so, and they pumped the water out. And of course, now the ship was all rusty. So we got there, and there were a couple of hundred guys on there waiting to go to their ships and so on. So they had working parties. We'd go over the side on stages, and we had to chip and red lead this ship and then paint it haze gray. So myself and a guy named Dallas Richens, who was a machinist mate who came aboard ship with me, I have a story about him later, got a big laugh at one of our reunions. We painted that whole ship, both sides, and we're there almost a month. And they said, the All-Seed's back inside Yokosuka. So they put us back on this train, went back up again to Yokosuka. I remember it was about 6 o'clock in the evening when we got there. I walked into this office, and the office had the guy sitting at a desk looking at me, and behind him was a huge picture window. And he said, guys, we don't know where the All-Seed is. And I looked, and right behind him, about 500 yards out in the water, moored fore and aft to buoys, is a ship said AF-48 on the hull. Well, I'm green as grass. So I asked him, I said, is there more than one AF-48 in the Navy? He said, no, there'll only be one. I said, well, then that's it there. He turned, well, I'll be damned. And that's how good the bookkeeping was in those days. So they put us in a boat and sent us right out. And Chief Gunner's mate, Reagan was his name, Virgil Reagan. I thought he was an old guy because he was bald, but he was only about 32, but he was Chief Gunner's mate. And he was on the quarterdeck when we arrived. The first thing he said was, have you guys eaten? We said, no. He told the officer deck, get the duty cook up there and cook us up some steak and so on. And that's how I got on the All-Seed. That was my greeting to the All-Seed. And we did a lot of big things on the All-Seed. It steamed all the time. When my son retired from the Navy, he had his shadow box made up for me. That's where you have all your ribbons and medals and so on. And he...
Is that in there?
Yeah. He looked up a lot of stuff about the All-Seed. And he said to me one day, he said, is all you guys did was steam? And I said, well, yeah, I guess it was. We were overseas 11 months. We were back for 3 or 4 weeks, and we're gone for another 9 months. Nothing was done by computer. You just went out there and you stayed there. So I was very, I think it's upstairs, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was in here.
No,
What are you looking for?
Where's his shadow box?
it's on the piano upstairs.
I'm gonna go grab it. You can tell us what it is. You want anything while I'm up there?
No, just go on up there. Well, the advantage, why I'm telling you this story is, we set all the records, kept how many tons per hour you could send food over to the other ships at sea. And we'd set all these records. And they hadn't done this in the Mediterranean. So they decided to send the All-Seed to the East Coast. That's not common, but we changed fleets and went through the Panama Canal and ended up in Norfolk, Virginia. And that changed my life because we hadn't been there long, and a young ET right out of ET school, Don Naples, came aboard, and he slept up in operations with the rest of us guys. And we just hit it off. Don was a very funny guy, did a great Walter Brennan impression, and so one day he invited me home to, he had a cousin, Rosie, Alfano, out in Aliquippa he wanted to introduce me to. And so he took me home with him for the weekend. But I met his sister first and pretty much decided that was the one I was going to settle with. And that worked out that way. A year or so later, she and I got married and
It's not on the piano.
and toughed it out for,
What are you looking for?
The shadow box, it has
put
a
that on pause.
pause.